What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, and always great to do a post-match fan show after a win, and definitely after a great victory like that. I know it was kind of we got a bit nervy at the end, but we got there in the end, and it really was a good performance in my opinion. But I think that what we need to speak about first and foremost is what actually happened in that game with that fan in the stand. And it's good to know that they were taken to hospital, stabilised, and we just want to send our condolences and our best wishes to him and his family and everyone connected to him, because no one likes to see stuff like that happen. I mean, credit to Eric Dyer and Reguilon for their fast actions, really.
Definitely, yeah. No, nothing to add on that.
But look, let's talk about the football, because it was a really good performance from Tottenham today. 10 minutes. First 10, 15 minutes aside, I thought we looked a bit ropey, a bit leggy in those first 10, 15 minutes. But once we did settle into that game, I mean, there was only one winner, wasn't there, today?
Yeah, and I thought it was really impressive. It was probably my best attacking performance of the season in terms of just dominating possession and having control of the game. Yeah, you could probably argue Newcastle were willing participants for a lot of that game after a fast start from them. But I think the way we managed and controlled the game was very impressive. And I think in possession, we were creative. I think Ndombele and Lucas and Son and Kane were linking up really well. The fullbacks were getting high. We were controlling the midfield with Son and with Skip and Højbjerg in the centre, making it very, very difficult for them. And I thought Romero and Dyer had really solid games at the back. So I got to say I was really happy with the performance. And I think it's encouraging moving forward. The balance looks really strong now in the side. I know it's only Newcastle, so look, got to be careful about how much we don't want to overpraise the team for the performance. But as the performances go,
got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, the only downside is we didn't kill the game off more in the second half, and we had so much domination possession. I mean, how Newcastle won that second half 1-0 is beyond me, because they barely. I don't think they had a shot.
Yeah.
It was an own goal. I don't remember them having a shot that whole second half. So I think Nuno will be frustrated that we didn't create enough chances or maybe put the game to bed in the second half. But other than that, I thought we were much superior. So hopefully a bit of momentum building with Spurs.
Yeah, and I think there were good performances all over the pitch. I thought Reguilon was absolutely brilliant. I thought Romero had a good game. And you know what, Eric Dyer, for what happened to him in the last minute with that calamitous own goal, I thought he was good for the majority part of the game, apart from that moment, to be honest, which is so classic Eric Dyer. And that midfield duo of Skip and Højbjerg, just unbelievable together. They really put a base down for us to really go on and perform and strut our stuff, and especially Skip, you know, because Skip sits there at the base and just mops up everything, and he's the one that really kind of leashes our attacking play, doesn't he? He really does.
He's a calming presence in there as well. Next to Højbjerg, whenever he needs an option, Skip's always there, and his passing is starting to get a bit more progressive. It's a bit more risky, but he is a good passer of the ball if you give him time and space, and I think he showed that again today. Obviously, he allows Højbjerg a little bit more freedom, and I think in Ndombele as well today he was brilliant, and I think he didn't have as much responsibility. Although I did think he worked really hard for the team, I think his ability to get a bit more further up the pitch, go into those areas which they don't like picking him up, and really start creating and linking up with the forward players was really, really special for him. So I think in Ndombele as well, it really helped him having a Skip on the pitch.
Yeah, great performance from Ndombele, and Harry Kane as well, coming into the team today and really announcing himself in this year's Premier League. I thought it was a really good performance, goal and assist. So yeah, good display from him. Sonny with another goal as well. So happy days for all Spurs fans out there today, with some big games around the corner, West Ham and Manchester United. And let's start getting some fans on. I can see a very happy Phil in the background, so let's get him on. Phil, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, I think apart from the last 3 minutes, that was an outstanding performance. But that was nerve-wracking right at the end.
Last three and first three, I would say, right?
Yeah. I think we talked about it yesterday, but it's like we just didn't come out of the traps. But they got the goal, they reset themselves, and I think the best thing was, like they did against Villa, it was like they got knocked down, but it was like, right, sleeves up, let's go. And we just looked such a solid performance all the way across. I thought it was just great today, really good.
Yeah.
Are we starting to see the signs of what a Nuno Spurs team is going to look like now? With the last two games, really positive signs in there. I mean, are you looking at it a lot more confident now than you were maybe a couple of weeks back?
Yeah, I think since he's either changed the formation or he's basically put Skip and Højbjerg in front of that back four. But once those two are in front of those back four, we look so much more solid. I mean, Skip got through so much work. You don't really see that much of it when you're watching, but he's just always there. He's breaking stuff up. He's just phenomenal for us. So good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Go on.
And, what do you think in terms of? So we had the balance of the side look so good today. Who really stood out for you though throughout the whole pitch? Who were the outstanding players for you?
Well, definitely Skip. I thought Tanguy had a good game. I reckon he's been watching your FIFA because he's shooting from all ports now. He's like, that FIFA doesn't lie. I can do that. I can do it. I'll show you. But yeah, But the best thing about him, apart from he did 90 minutes, he played the whole game with a massive smile on his face. He looked totally in control. He looked fit. He never seemed to give up, whether he lost the ball or stuff. He was winning tackles literally from the first minute. So that probably for me is his best ever game for us, and and a great goal as well. So
yeah, he was good he played 90 minutes as well. Didn't look tired throughout the whole game. Even later on in the game, he's nutmegging people and he's going past people. But no subs at all used by Nuno, especially in the circumstances we had going into this game with players coming back late from international duty and late calls on Son and things like that. Was it a smart decision for you to not make any? I know we ended up winning the game, but we did seem to lose a bit in the last few minutes, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think. Obviously listen to your commentary going through it. I would have made some changes because, unless he's not going to play any of those 11 on Thursday, they've had a long run out that they didn't necessarily need. Again, always struggle with Romero because he has to be there because he's solid and he's such a calming influence. But Emerson looked a little bit shaky to start with, came back into it, but the last 15 minutes he probably needed a Tanganga, and Son as well, possibly, just to give him that little bit of a break. But more importantly, to give either Bergwijn or Hill some minutes, in a game that at that point was really comfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely true. But now are we seeing the kind of revival from Harry Kane? Is Harry Kane back?
Yeah, I mean, it was always coming, wasn't it? And his goal was so well taken. If you watch it in the slow-mo, he's way offside and he looks like, I really can't be bothered. And then suddenly he looks up at Højbjerg, gets himself back on side and just timed his run to perfection. And, plus an assist, he just looked a little bit like Harry Kane of old, which was good news for us, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Because to think about, we've gone 8 games now and we're 5th in the table and Kane hasn't even gotten going yet properly, and you got to start to think once Kane and Son get going properly. I mean, Son's already been, but once Kane starts to get going, maybe there is something in this season for us, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, it's again, I think one of the guys said it earlier. Now we're like 8 games, 5 wins, whereas if it had been the other way round and it was like 8 games, 4 defeats, it suddenly doesn't look very good. Whereas now it looks, we've got the right momentum. I know we had our wobble in the middle there, but we're in the right momentum now, and it's got to be onwards and upwards. There's some definite sort of solid performances out there, and what looks like a little bit of future.
Yeah, definitely. Right. But, hard games around the corner now. West Ham away, Man United at home. Surely we go into these games now with a bit more confidence about us, don't we?
Yeah, because you think Thursday should be fairly straightforward. So that's, another win. I know it's not proper opposition, but it's momentum, isn't it? But, on the back of, certainly on the back of Villa, and then today at Newcastle, you go into West Ham, who are on a good run, but again, player for player, still think we've got a better squad. So it's down to, their mentality and performance on the day, which, should be good for us.
All right, let's hope so, Phil. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend, and we'll see you next time. Come on, you Spurs.
Nice one, Phil.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. A lot of happy Spurs fans today.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep going. Let's go to Sean Butler. How's it going, Sean? You good?
I'm well, guys. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Yeah, we're well as well. Obviously, a great win today, 3-2 at St James's Park. We spoiled the party up there with their new ownership and what have you. What did you make out of the performance today?
Yeah, I think the performance was, I think, extra special. I think it was super solid. I thought that, all in all, the performance, there was two stories that were playing today. There was the story on the pitch that any other time of the season we would think that we should go there, dominate, and get the 3 points. But because of the noise, because of their special day, because of all of the things that were happening in the background, it could have been one of those Spursy moments where we slip up. But apart from that first 2 minutes when they went 1-0 up and gave them, or that crowd, that Geordie Roar, that extra motivation, I thought that we turned it around and we were very professional, which I was super surprised about. I thought when we went 1-0 down, I thought, oh God, here we go. But
like the rest of us.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. But it was one of those. I'm just really proud, and the main takeaway that I have, I came on your show before and I gave Ndombele a hard time, and for anyone that knows me would know that I've never given him much of a good time. I've always thought he was pretty weak in the most important areas of a team game. But I thought today he was spectacular, and I really sort of take my hat off and kind of I've eaten my words a little bit because I didn't think he would be the right man for the job, but I thought he was brilliant today. I thought he was the man of the match by a long shot, and yeah, fantastic performance.
Yeah, and do you like to see him maybe slightly further forward than maybe in the deeper role which he's played previously? Do you think he, without that defensive responsibility, maybe he's a lot more comfortable?
Well, so it's interesting because for the longest time I've always thought that Lucas Moura should play in the 10 role, and but Ndombele would also be another candidate for it. What I found myself thinking today was something a little bit maybe controversial. Tell me what you think, but I think that Oliver Skipp is superb. I think he's absolutely sensational off the ball. His ability to read the game off the ball, to fill the gaps, to slide tackle at the pivotal moments is second to none. I don't actually know if there's another Premiership player at the moment that does that off the ball defensive role more succinctly than he does. Where I think Ollie Skipp lacks is sometimes his positional awareness when he's making passes when he has the ball. Mm-hmm. And so which is unusual. Most people, their strongest point is when they have possession and their weakest point is off the ball. I feel like he's the converse. But I think playing him and Ndombele seems to be almost like you're counter-acting each other's strengths and weaknesses, which I think is a fantastic thing. Ndombele's weakest point is off the ball, but then you've got someone behind him like Oliver Skipp. And so I don't know if it will, what your thoughts are on it, but I think that maybe playing them both together in the roles they play today seem to allow them to play their best positions more freely, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually, what you say about that. Like, I get your point on Ndombele. I mean, I kind of get your point on Ollie Skipp as well, but I actually think maybe he's much better on the ball that you might be giving him credit for, because I think he's fairly good on the ball as well.
Yeah, well, the basis of my concerns about him on the ball was in the 4 games previous, whenever I've seen us give the ball away, let me retract that. Whenever I've seen him give the ball away, it's not from him. He can gather the ball, but I feel like his peripheral awareness with the passing sometimes can be a bit short-sighted. He passes the ball thinking that someone's going to move into it easily, but hasn't seen one of the opposing players that's moving into the space. And
I've seen that a few times. I think you're right on that.
Yeah. So that's why that's the only part of his game that I think is weak is his kind of peripheral and when he's on the ball. But like I say, I'm not here to criticize him. I'm here to actually applaud him. I think he's one of the greatest players in the Premier League right now at off the ball awareness. And like I say, for Ndombele, I think it's a fantastic match and something we should potentially look into playing with more regularity.
And in terms of the front players, Harry Kane, Lucas, Son, it was great to see them link up today a numerous amount of times, and obviously linked up so well for that third goal as well. All three of them, they're really starting to get their groove back. And do you think Kane as well himself? Do you start looking like the old Kane for you now?
I mean, it was a fantastic finish. Whenever you see a goal that has that sort of caliber of class to the final touch, it's always a shame when it takes the VAR to have to allow them to celebrate, because it was a classy finish and it looked onside to me at the time. But I don't know. I feel like it was one of those moments where maybe Harry Kane, I don't know. To me, I still feel his mind is elsewhere. I really do hope that he is, going to settle down and focus, and this will be the start of something fantastic. But, it was always kind of written in the stars for me a little bit today that he was going to, go and perform well, because the cameras are on Newcastle and that the eyes of the world were kind of looking down on what was going to happen, which, like I say, in part is why I'm super happy that Tottenham were able to get away from this banana skin, because it could have been a really bad day. It could have been an easy 3 points that slipped away because it was Newcastle's day, and Tottenham in the past, some versions of Tottenham in the past would have allowed them to have the 3 points unnecessarily. But I thought that today we did fantastic. I'm delighted that Kane scored. I thought he played well. I thought that the front three in general were fantastic. But with Harry, I'm still not convinced that he's necessarily still 100% there yet. I don't want to be too negative, because it's a good day, but.
And looking at also the defensive line, we had Emerson and Romero both coming back late from their international duty, and a very quick turnaround for their last outing for their respective nations. Yeah. But how do you think they both fared today, and what must have been quite difficult circumstances for them?
So I think Romero is. I think he's fantastic. I love his. I just love the. He's comfortable on the ball. He's stylish. He's happy to look for long passes. He's creative, but he's also solid as a rock. Obviously, the first goal we gave away, whilst he kind of tried to get the head in there, I'll forgive him that one. It wasn't. I don't think it was his fault, but I thought he was fantastic. As far as Emerson goes, I think Emerson's going to fill into the role. But what I would like to ask you guys is, I've come to this conclusion recently that, and I'm not sure if you agree, I think that the right back role for any Premier League team is probably the most important and pivotal role in a Premier League side, because the left flank, that the role that Sonny plays, and at Man City, there's probably 5 or 6 players that are all vying for the same spot. It's the most saturated role for most talented players in the front three of any team across Europe. And I think the reason why is because most of them are right-footed naturally, but have learned and earned the art of being capable with their left foot. And if they're pacey, if they're athletic, then that left wing forward role is where there's a saturation of talent in that role. And therefore, if you're a player who has to defend against that, which every team has to, then the right wing back role is probably the most unusually necessary role to spend money to be capable in and strong in. Am I making sense?
You are making sense. I understand what you're saying, because all players have their most talented player out on the left wing nowadays, you're saying, because of how the modern football works. People like to have their wingers cut inside, and wide forwards are basically the new strikers. That's where most of the goals come from in this day and age. And so the fullbacks are becoming ever more important. And you see in the top clubs, Trent Alexander-Arnold, you got Wan-Bissaka, they spent 50 million on him recently. Reece James and Azpilicueta for Chelsea. Everyone has a top right back, and it's in modern football. Right, I wouldn't say it's the most important, but I would say it's definitely definitely increased in importance over time. I can 100% agree with that. And it's somewhere we've been lacking for 5 years.
That's the point I'm getting to, right? Exactly, mate. It's spot on. If you're weak in that area, then it's almost like the keystone to a defensive system. If you can't fill that gap, then everything else can fall apart. And under Serge when we had Aurier last season, we haven't really filled that gap since Trippier left, and even when we had Aurier there, you know, he had attacking options, but it pulled people out of position and the centre backs to try and cover up. And it's a real weak spot. And I don't know, to answer your question, you asked me a long time ago whether or not I thought Emerson Royale was how he played today. I think he's got a lot of potential. I like him a lot, but I don't know if he is reassuring me in the defensive roles yet. And I know it could be an element of he's brand new to the Premier League. He's tired from the travelling. I would love it if we had someone that was super secure in that right back role, because I do think it's a more important role than a lot of people give credit for, and I don't know if he's the man for me.
All right.
Just before you go, Sean, let me just ask you this: these last two games, Aston Villa and Newcastle, I would say probably our most complete performances so far this season. Both of them coming without Dele Alli. Do you think that's quite telling?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, 100%. I mean, the first time I came on, I said the words, he doesn't belong in the squad. As much as I love him, as much as he's a bit of an icon at Tottenham and a cult hero, his best days are behind him. I think he needs to go and find a smaller scaled club where he can resurrect his career, because I'm glad that he's not in the team at the moment. As sad as it sounds, we're better without him.
All right, Sean, big up yourself. Thanks for coming on today, and we'll see you next time. Come on, Spurs. Super chat here from Guha Aran Kumar says, probably the best 11 on paper. Looked in charge after 5 minutes. Own goal was freak accident. Lucas fantastics. Props to Reguilon and Dyer for getting help for the fan. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, do you think that was our strongest 11 on the pitch today?
Arguably. I mean, in terms of front three, no question. I think Lucas, Kane and Son have to be our best three.
Yeah.
Then in terms of central midfield, you need to have Højbjerg there.
And
Reguilon's obviously our best left back. Romero's definitely our best centre back. Lloris is there. Emerson's probably our best right back. So the only other positions really up for grabs are really Ndombele's position, Dyer's position, and
That's probably it.
Probably, yeah. You could argue
Emerson,
Skip, but Skip is just becoming way too crucial at the moment. So I think that's probably as good as you'll get. You could argue that maybe, I don't know, who knows what will happen with Sanchez or Rodon or Tanganga, whether they could step up into Dyer's position or whether Lo Celso could be better than Ndombele. But I think it's a very good argument to say that's definitely that's the best 11. I probably would say it is. Currently, if you ask me what our best 11 is, I'd have to say that.
Thing is, with the Eric Dyer thing, like no one else is as comfortable on the left as he is.
That's also, Rodon is.
Maybe Rodon, yeah.
Rodon used to play there for Swansea, I know that.
Yeah.
But again, not in the squad today. So
what is it with Joe Rodon that no manager seems to like him?
Yeah, I don't know. They don't seem to fancy him for some reason.
All right, let's go to our next guest, Adam William Cahill.
What's the story, guys? How you doing?
Yeah, the story is we've won 3-2 today. We've absolutely destroyed the party up in the northeast today.
No noise from the Saudi boys.
No noise from the Saudi boys, apparently. But Adam, we just had a bit of a conversation. Do you think that was our strongest 11 today on the pitch?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I don't even think that was our best formation. I think that Nuno is still very much... Okay, before I'm going to jump into a negative by answering that question. So I'll just say, first off, I'm absolutely relieved at the result. It's amazing. Now we're in 5th position. That's, at the very least where we belong. And, considering that the likelihood is Brighton are going to slip, if we can stay above United, West Ham, Everton, we can push into the top 4. It's amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. Got to say from the outset, very, very positive in that sense. That being said, we came away with a 3-2 against a team in the relegation zone at the moment, and the money that they have hasn't come into effect. You know what I mean? Nothing really changed from last week to now, except a little bit of they had a pep in their step for a few days. I think that the fact that we didn't come away 3-0 has left a little bit of a sour taste for me. And I think the reason being is that Nuno does not understand how to play the team to its full potential yet. And a big part of it is one of the things that you were just discussing, which is not playing Roden instead of Dyer. And I genuinely believe, and this is probably going to be very controversial, but I really, really think a lot of the time that Dyer works his way into the team is because he speaks fluent Portuguese. And we had a Portuguese manager with Mourinho, and we have a Portuguese manager with Nuno. I think that he's able to sweet talk these guys. They hear their own language and they go, oh yeah, I really like this person. And then we know in the dressing room, reportedly, he can be quite authoritative and kind of, expect a lot from the other players. But the fact of the matter is, he can expect a lot all he wants. When he's out on the pitch, he's a liability. I've never, ever favored Eric Dyer. There's never been, even in the games, the first 3 games of the season where we scraped by with the 1-0 victories, Dyer is an absolute liability. And I genuinely believe that the only centre-back that we have that's capable of playing in a 2 partnership is Romero. All the other players genuinely need the comfort of a 3 at the back to be really, really secure. And I think it should be Romero, Sanchez, and Roden who should be playing the back 3. So a totally different formation is necessary to get the best. So you're asking me, like, what's the best 11? It can't be the team that we saw today when we had.
So who do you take out the middle?
It was nice to see Dele Alli not playing in the center of the pitch there. I genuinely think that Dele Alli should be playing up front as a backup striker. People keep going on about the fact that we don't have any backup strikers. Well, Dele Alli played there under Poch, and he did incredibly well. What I believe, if I may say, in my neophyte experience as a manager, but I would play the 3 at the back that I mentioned, right? And I think that they would be much more stable together. You then have the options of playing a Tanganga or a Dyer if absolutely necessary in the lesser games, or if someone's injured or whatever, but you do have backups for those positions. Then you play Skip and Højbjerg in the center of the pitch. If you really need to, then you can have a Winks or a Niall John or whatever come in, but the 2 of them should be stalwarts in that position. Out on the wings then beside them, so we're playing a 3-4, right? Mm-hmm. On the wings, you can have either a Hill or a Reguilon out on the left. They're very, very similar in the way they play, and I think Reguilon playing deeper is also a liability. He's not a particularly great defender. That first goal today was partially his fault and partially Dyer's fault. Dyer didn't
he was
pick up
2
the
on
score.
1, wasn't he, Reguilon? He couldn't do much.
I think sometimes Reguilon just doesn't know. He hasn't got the same wherewithal. He hasn't got the same knowledge of the passages of play as, say, a Skip. Skip reads the game unbelievably well. Kane reads the game unbelievably well. I don't think Reguilon has the experience yet. I don't know how Skip does it so young, but Reguilon doesn't have the nous yet to really know which player to pick up. Then the ball flings in, and Dyer is ball watching. Dyer should have been picking up the goal scorer. So if you have a Reguilon playing a bit further forward, or you could play Hill there. Out on the right, then you can have your Emerson, who also is very good going forward, or you could play Lucas Moura. Then directly in front of that 4, you play the Cam, and you have Nombelli or Lo Celso, and then in front of them in a 2, Son and Kane, who are the best partnership in the entire Premier League. And then when you do need to rest one of them or both of them, you have Dele Alli and you have Dane Scarlett. You have literally 2 players for every position, and you're playing them in their absolute best formation.
What do you do with Lucas and Bergwijn then? You just out in the cold?
I think Bergwijn and Lucas are both players that don't seem to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. So if you play them out on the wing and you're using them as players with speed, they're both fast. You use them as players that are going to get the ball into the forward positions and then cross them in. I don't think having them playing in a 3 up the front, where Son is out wide, where he should be in a little bit closer, because I mean he's a natural goal scorer. I think he's got a better goal scoring foot than Kane. That's just my opinion. But I would say that Bergwijn and Lucas should be playing on the wings. And again, you just got more options. If we want to be a team that gets into the top 4, we need to be like all of the other teams that are capable of getting in there and have basically 2 first teams potentially. And the way that I've set it up there, I think that there's literally 2 players of decent quality playing in the appropriate positions. And then if you have, like, again, in the back, you very rarely have to switch the defenders out, because the defenders don't do nearly as much running because they don't go as far forward. The other thing as well is Eric Dyer is so bloody slow. He is literally the slowest player in the Premier League. So most really, really good teams can move their back line really far forward. Liverpool are one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league right now, depending on whether you say it's them or Chelsea. They play with the furthest back line because they can move their players forward. They can keep possession. The fantastic thing we saw today and against Villa with Spurs is that we knew how to keep the ball. We're now playing, wanting to maintain possession and control the game instead of letting the other teams controlling the game and then getting on the counter. We control. And I think we'd have had a much better chance of doing that if we didn't have to worry about Dyer not being able to get back. So we play with a defensive line that's deeper. We could play further forward, keep possession, bounce the ball around, and I would say we would get considerably more goals and concede an awful lot less.
Interesting. That's the formation we play on FIFA, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
You've been watching our FIFA career mode, Adam.
Is it? No way.
That's the formation we play on
Awesome.
FIFA. Yeah.
Yeah, with a 1-2 actually. Up top, yeah.
That's exactly how we should play, lads.
On the game, back on the game, Adam. Today, I mean, who really stood out for you today?
Skip always stands out for me. I think that he's just the way he reads the game is just absolutely sensational. I think probably if I had to say anyone outside of it's really, really hard not to say the goal scorers when you see a goal as tremendous as the likes of I know Sons was a tap in, but Kane doing that little flick over the goalkeeper over the goalkeeper's head, and Nombelli with a tremendous distance goal. But I gotta say the one who captivated me the most would be Romero. Romero always he had to at times save Emerson's ass, at times save Dyer's ass. I think that when he was going forward as well, he showed it. Like whenever we had a lot of corners today. When he was in the box, I think he looked like he could be a threat at some point in the future. I could see him getting a few goals as well. So I think Romero caught my attention the most.
Yeah. I think he played a really strong performance. He's so aggressive, isn't he, Romero? In the back line. He just adds a new element of being proactive when he's in the team because he looks for the ball. He reads the game. I feel like Dyer and Sanchez, more often than not, they're waiting for the attackers to get the ball before analysing what to do. Whereas Romero just doesn't even either he makes a foul or he gets the ball. One of the two.
Yeah.
And it's so positive. But
the one thing I'd say about Sanchez is at least Sanchez is probably the fastest centre back in the Premier League, and Romero is really quick too. I think Rodon he's considerably faster than Dyer. At the end of the day, if we were playing with a higher back line, they can get back really quickly. You saw it today plenty of times with Romero, him getting back so fast, and like we see him doing it for Argentina, and he's doing it for us. I think he's going to be an absolute revelation, in the years to come. But he needs better partners. Eric Dyer does not deserve to be lacing up boots next to this guy.
Yeah, I know Dyer scored the own goal, but other than that, he did have a pretty good game, didn't he? Today,
I think he gets too much leeway. He's so slow. He is so slow, and then he switches off. There are periods of the game where he's literally just and then the other teams will capitalize. I genuinely do not believe that he's of the ilk to be wearing a Spurs shirt. I really don't. Just because he's a decent shot stopper. When he's got his mind together, he will get himself in front of a shot, even if he knows he's going to get belted with it. So fair play. But outside of that, his head's not in the game 100% of the time, and he's too much of a liability.
Yeah.
It only takes 2 or 3 mistakes.
Yeah. It only takes one mistake from him and it usually ends up in a goal. But Adam, thank you so much for coming on, my friend, and we shall speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Cheers, lads. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. Another brilliant call from Adam William Cahill. Who have we got next? We've got a familiar face coming on, the big old Bob Spur TV. Come on. Yes, Bob.
Big old
Bob Spur. Big old Bob Spur TV. Come on. How you doing, mate?
Big up, man. All that tactical talk, man, it's giving me a headache. Players in, players out. He should be playing there. It's brilliant.
4-2.
Exactly.
We've got our very own Mike Bassett here.
Yeah, that's it, mate. 4-2. No,
Exactly.
it was. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at it in layman terms. We won against Villa. We needed to kick on. We needed to get another win, and we did it. And let's be honest, man, it was piss easy today, wasn't it?
It was.
Apart from those first 5 minutes, we were in control. We played football. We kept possession well. We could have scored. We should have scored more. The own goal, it was unfortunate. It did like he miscued her, a header. It really was a total misjudgment, and it was unlucky / lucky for Newcastle. I thought we were absolutely brilliant today without going. One thing I don't do is go over the top. I thought we were really, really, really good today.
And in terms of the personnel, who really stood out for you today? Who was your man of the match?
Well, obviously, I've got a big up to Reguilon, by the way. You know, I've got a personal affinity to what he did today with regards to pointing out the person who's having heart problems in the stand. But I thought he was brilliant anyway. I thought he was absolutely fantastic up and down that left flank. Yes, of course, he can be better defensively, but man, you know, there's many players who have been shocking or a bit dodgy at defending, and certainly fullbacks, and have worked on their craft. And we've got to remember it's his second proper season, so he'll work on it. He'll get better. He is our best left back. The only left back to an extent if you don't want Davis in there, but no, I thought Reguilon was brilliant, and I just got on the phone to Arthur, one of the Spurs family, and Skippy's one of those people, isn't he? That if he's not going to get the headlines, he's going to be one of those players. He's going to be a Carrick-esque. He's not going to get the, but if he doesn't play, we're likely to miss him. He is absolutely.
And we saw that in the Arsenal game and the second half.
Yeah.
Well, he came on, didn't he? But we saw that against Arsenal, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. He brought a bit of composure and control, and we control the game. Apart from the first 5 minutes, and even after it made it 3-2, we were still in control. We control that game start to finish, and I think Skippy and Højbjerg got fantastic. It's allowing Højbjerg to certainly go forward a bit more. He seems to be enjoying his role a bit more, but
he really unleashes our play going forward, doesn't he, Skippy?
100%, mate. 100%. It's very rarely we see him. I don't think we've hardly ever seen him in the opposition penalty area or anywhere near it. You know, he's never in that position where he can get a shot off. He's always there as that extra security, and I think he knows his role. It's like he's played that role for all his life. There's so much maturity to his game, to his positional sense. Yeah, he's one of those players that, put it this way, Winks could no way do that role, and he's the alternative we've got for that role. So,
Bob, just what you were saying about that Newcastle fan, there's just been some news saying that Newcastle fan who needed medical attention during the Newcastle Spurs game is now awake and responsive in hospital.
Oh,
it's great news.
So that's very good news.
Fantastic.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah,
that is what we like to hear. Bob, I had a question for you, but I forgot what I was going to ask you.
So what do you say to that, Bob? What do you say to that?
The answer is yes, 100%.
What, you think that? Really? No,
Absolutely ridiculous.
What a joke.
Ndombele doing 90 minutes. I mean,
Ndombele.
That's what I was going to ask you, Bob. Nuno.
Yes.
Not making a sub today, right? On another day that could have really hurt us today. Is that just showing more flaws in his game?
Mate, but did we really not? We weren't under the cosh. You know, the defenders weren't being moved from right to left. We weren't chasing the ball. We weren't using our. It's not like we were chasing shadows or running after trying to get possession of them. I thought we had the legs right till the end.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we were playing a better side and he does that, that's what I'm saying.
If we were playing better side, then I'm sure the stamina would have been affected in majority of our players. But I think today there was no reason. Judging on today's game solely, everyone still had their legs. No one was running around because we controlled. But against a better side, of course, mate. You know, against a Man City or a Liverpool, when they keep possession for fun, then 100% we would be making a. I would have actually questioned if we made any substitutes today because
really
we were comfortable.
I get that.
I
I get we were comfortable, but you know, Emerson and Christian Romero both coming back from long trips, didn't play that long ago. They've played especially Romero played 3 games in a week. Emerson, I think he's played a game and a bit for Brazil, with long travelling as well. And Sonny as well coming back from South Korea and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But they didn't look tired, did they?
I felt the last couple of minutes we did look a bit leggy.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, even so, but I think the fact we controlled. I mean, that 1-2 that the Harry Kane and Højbjerg play at the end towards there, Højbjerg run. I thought there was so many good things about it, and
I agree.
And of course, we can nitpick. Spurs fans are always going to nitpick, and I think the previous caller Adam did do that. He nitpick a bit quite. I think we just need to enjoy after 3 successive defeats, conceding 3 goals. I think the fact we've come back with back-to-back against a goodish Villa side, but today I said 4-1 yesterday. Newcastle, you can just because it should have been just because they've got a new.
You're deluded, Bob. You're deluded.
They're still shit, man. Come on, they're still shit. It's the quality on the pitch, so it should have been 4-5. The big test is now. It's now a question of quick kicking on, isn't it? West Ham and the Uniteds and. Let's wait and see. But one thing it has done is certainly brought a bit of confidence back. Kane looked a bit better. His certainly link-up play was a bit better today. But, mate, I'll be honest with you, apart from the slow start and the unfortunate own goal, I could not, and I can't really see a fault in today's performance. Maybe it's just me being a bit overexcited over another 3 points, but it was good. It was good today. It was really good.
Yeah, and these 2 performances back to back now, Aston Villa and Newcastle without Dele Alli, is that telling for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I came in there saying it's unfortunate for Dele Alli. He's not been played at that number 10 position. You know, he's not a left midfielder, and he's certainly not a DM where he's played majority of the time under Nuno. But when Ndombele or Luke, when we've got Lucas, who's probably our best number 10, when he comes inside, he's magic. It's hard to find a position for Ali, and it's unfortunate. And I think, probably the writing's on the wall for him for Jan maybe, but certainly end of the season if it carries on like this. He's not helped himself by putting in lackluster performances, though, is it? So, and another thing, you should get Daigle in on every single Spurs game now. 100%. Every time he's come in, he's. I've
told him he's not allowed to go back to Canada now. He's not allowed.
That's it, man. That's it. I'll grab his passport. I'll burn it. So he's got no choice.
At least bring his wife back here, you know what I mean, so they can be together.
We don't want that, mate. That's all right.
Big up, Bob. Thanks for coming on, as always.
Legends.
Nice one, Bob.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. Always great to get the great Bob Spur TV on. Let's go on to our next guest. Who have we got?
Brains.
We got Brains McLeod. Big up, Brains McLeod.
Let's get him on.
Yes, Brains.
What's cracking?
And we were trying to get listen to that song that you were singing on the pre-match pump up. We couldn't quite get it. Do you want to give us a rerun?
What was it that I said? I always write these lyrics down. It was the whole "Come On Eileen" version. It was "Come on, you Spurs, put Steve Bruce in a hearse." I'm doing it in English accent. I'm doing it in your accent. Come on, you Spurs, put Steve Bruce in a hearse. You can do it. And go on to win. And I did the old yes, I confess, we're a bit of a mess. We can do it. And just cover them. And then I actually picked 2-1. So I was like, come on. 2-1, the tunes are lit. Come on. 2-1, we need you, kid. Come on. Nuno, you cannot lose today. And then I did the whole 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, kid.
I didn't realise it was this extensive. I thought it was just a simple chart.
Hey, you bring me in for songs.
You outdo yourself every time you come on, Brains.
You bring me in for songs. You don't ask a songwriter to start singing your songs.
Exactly. But great win today, 3-2. But Eric Dyer, let's just talk about Eric Dyer for a second, because me personally, I thought he had a great game up until that moment. What was your take on his performance?
That's the reason I hate him to death. Because he can have a good game for 85 minutes, every now and then. It's just that, I've got a group on WhatsApp, but it's called Diarrhea Day, and we always change the name of the group to be some sort of pun on him. And it's basically, it gets to 85 minutes every game, and it's well, we've not had one yet. Oh, here you go. Wait, here you go. Bang. And it's so predictable. Every game, I feel bad making fun of him so much. But you know, like it's just because it's like he must feel he sure unless he's completely delusional, he must feel that he has the most mistakes of any Spurs player I've ever known of. Like consistent mistakes. It just isn't a Spurs game without like a dire mishap, you know.
Did you never watch Ramon Vega?
Insane. Well, there you go. Yeah, there's a couple players, but there's always going to be a few. But yeah, just for him, it's like how many seasons now consistently? You know, like last season he was kind of confronting it, so even he does know about it. He knows what the fans think, and he was trying to say last season that, you know, it's like, oh, it gets a lot of mistakes get put on me. It's like, no, dude, like look at the stats. Like
they are you.
Yeah, like we could have had a higher finish last season if you just got rid of all his unforced errors, like just his unforced errors. Like I'm looking at Newcastle, and by the way, Adam was like bang on. I think he is genuinely only in the team because he knows Portuguese, and Adam was also bang on in his impression. He was like, that is dire. But like genuinely, I wish. I mean, I'm thinking like John, you know. John Joe Shelby is probably going to get beheaded in the morning. I'm thinking, I wish we had Saudi owners so that Dyer would have been beheaded years ago. Like, let's get this guy out of here. Like, let's bring the Saudis in just to get him stoned to death tomorrow. Like that, like, I can't deal with the guy. It just is. It's just, I just don't think that we can ever, if we're being really serious about things, I don't think we can challenge for top four for anything important, even like semifinals of cup games and stuff, with someone like Dyer there, because I think there's a mistake all the time. I don't think Nuno can get the tactics right to be able to mount like a top four challenge. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I think with Dyer at the heart of the back four, I mean, you know, all those seasons that we had, where we had success under Pochettino, it was never really Dyer in a back four, was it? It was either in midfield when he was masking over mistakes, over glaring holes we had before, like when Wanyama came in, or he was in a back three when he had Vertonghen and Alderweireld to hold his hand. He was never really there in a back two, was he? And whenever he was in a back two, that's when issues seemed to be a cause. And now we're relying on him in a back two. I kind of agree that he is an issue, but I think I do think he had a good game today, apart from the glare mistake. But look at the mistake; it's not just a simple mistake, is it? No. There's no pressure around him. There's literally nothing, and he seems to somehow get the ball into the net in the most explicable scenario. I don't know how he managed to do that.
He doesn't have to bend as well. It's like if you want to get rid of the ball, just slide it off for a corner that way. It's like super. What's he going down so low for?
He just made the wrong decision to go for the header. Yeah, he just made the wrong decision. But
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Let's talk about something more positive than bashing Eric Dyer, because, you know, look, it was a good performance with 3 points, wasn't it?
We did enjoy that Dyer bashing. No,
that's what we live for. Yeah, but look, it was a good performance. Absolutely. Where I felt like we controlled the game really effectively for one of the first times this season where we actually looked really good dominating possession. It was just a bit disappointing we didn't obviously extend our lead in the second half, but what did you make out of the performance in general?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought Reggie, little bit of a delay here. I'm getting a little bit of a delay, but I think Reggie was good. I thought actually one of the best games that Reggie's played. I thought Skip was magnificent. Like there's this one point where St. Maximan's running through and Skip puts this perfect slide tackle in. Thought he was great. I thought obviously Ndombele was really good, but the most impressive thing was how beautiful they passed the ball around. Like to me, that was just, I was saying to David just before, it was like, look, if we hold the ball and we just pass it around and like win the duels, then this game, they're 19th in the league. This game should be in the bag easily. So we did that, and you know, just Dyer's mishap and the kind of early goal is kind of made it like not look as comfortable as it was, but you know, it was comfortable.
Yeah, we should have been. But are you a bit disappointed the second half with all the domination and possession we had? You know, we didn't seem to actually. Put them to the sword really with any sort of serious chances created or anything like that. And I know the goal came out of nothing, but it should never have been 3-1 at that stage. It should have been 4-5. And maybe Nuno might be a bit disappointed, not just by not scoring the fourth, but like in the second half, we didn't create too many great quality chances where you thought, oh, you had to score there or anything like that. And that'll be a bit disappointing, won't it?
And this is when you need a manager who's going, oh, okay, look, it's cool. They've got control of the game. You know, the game's in control. That's when you actually sometimes make subs. That's when you've got players on the bench who are good players who you have to also consider their form. You can't just keep them on the bench and keep them not playing. You've got to consider their form. So you've got Emerson, who's played really recently, and you can see at times they were all right. Him and Romero, they were good, but it's like, look, the game's under control. Let's bring Tanganga on a right back. Let's give Rodin a go. Let's concentrate on their form as well, and then let's bring in Gill and let's get Gill will want to make something happen. So let's try to make something happen. Let's try to get a little bit more urgency and try just finish this game off. 4-1 and the game is just dead, and then you can kind of, you know, do keep you uppies in the halfway line, you know. But it was a bit for me. It's just a little bit like, oh, this is Nuno just going, you know, keep it there, you know, like managing under fear, like steady. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. He's just like, oh. It's like have some balls, you know. He's got the Wallace and Gromit. Oh, you know, just have some balls and go for it. Like, but we could have got them. David was right. I thought we could have got them 5-2 or something today. You know, like we could have put 5 past them easily.
That could be a nice new nickname for Eric Dyer, Wallace. I like that. That's brilliant.
Well, him and Sanchez, Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, Brains. Always a pleasure, my friend. And we'll see you next
worries,
time.
guys.
Always good to speak to you, Brains. Love having you on.
Absolutely.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, guys. See you later. Bye.
All right, we got a super chat here from Brad Matthews saying, sorry guys, can't be there tonight, celebrating a win at the pub. Come on, you Spurs. Have one for us, Brad. And the next guy we're going to bring on is going to be the guy that's going to be getting battered on FIFA very, very soon. Mr. David Harris, the Irish Hotspur. How you doing, mate?
Been battered everywhere.
I'm all good. I'm absolutely delighted. First of all, Harry Kane is fucking back, baby.
Yeah.
All the love. I even tweeted him today. I had the feeling. I even tweeted him today. I said, Harry Kane, I feel like you're going to score. You know, he had the 007 Premier hair. I was absolutely loving life to see him get on the score sheet. I'm absolutely delighted to see him back. But in terms of FIFA, lads, honestly, you can't handle what's coming your way. I've been practicing. I've been sick all week. I've had a lot of time to practice. Honestly, I'm scoring goals left, right, and centre, lads, from all angles. You could only imagine.
David gets battered everywhere he goes.
David and
gets battered.
David and Jack are going to take one hell of a beating. I can't wait to do it. But look, 3-2 today. How happy are you with the win, and who are the really outstanding performers for you?
I'm absolutely delighted with the win. I'll be honest with you, I knew it was coming. Look, all this hearsay, all this talk about Newcastle, they're still the same old shit Newcastle. I said it on the pre-match bump-up. I wasn't worried coming in today. Like last year, we handed them the 2 draws. We handed it to them single-handedly. But that was already being rectified with fitness levels being improved, our defence being improved. So I was coming into this game knowing we were going to win. In terms of standout performance, I have to say, Ndombele, I want to give a big shout out to Ndombele. He was moving mad today. He was absolutely brilliant. Some of the silky skills, you know, his passing. But most importantly, what I was impressed with was his tempo setting today. He slowed it down when it needed to be slowed down. He quickened it up when it needed to be quickened up. And we've been missing it since Christian Eriksen is that player that can hold the ball in the final third and create sustained attack and pressure. And we've done that today, I have to say. Bar the little mishap at the end, it was a very, very comfortable performance. And there's a lot of positives going forward, you know. I want to give a big shout out to Harry Kane. He got a goal and an assist today. Absolutely delighted to see him back rocking. I think Son was brilliant. He took it to
David,
Newcastle.
are you happy about Harry Kane's performance today?
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted.
Can't tell.
Everyone was questioning him. Everybody was questioning him. I felt like the only man at times standing there defending him.
Hi, David. Harry Kane apologized right here.
Actually, you know what? I have to actually commend you, Sim. You know, I've heard you stick it to your brother about the Harry Kane situation and everything else. So fair play to you. Me and you were the last 2 standing, you know. But look, when it comes to Harry Kane, we have to be honest with ourselves. We need to show him the love, and we need to get him back proper firing, because if we want to achieve anything this season, he's going to be at the forefront of it, like he has been over years gone by. So we have to get him into the team and playing well. And you could see what the goal meant to him, the relief on his face. It looked like he was constipated for a week or something like that. And, he was after going to the toilet. The relief on his face, it was unbelievable. Then you look at the whole team. Another question answered. Is there a friction between him and the team? The team mobbed him. He was like a superstar up on stage. They mobbed him. It was absolutely great to see. I'm just delighted he's back. I really am. It's such a relief for me, especially because I put it out there before the game. I went big today putting it out there before the game. It's always a risk to do. But I thought Son was brilliant today as well. The only man that can beat COVID within 18 hours. What a man. But he took it to the Newcastle defense every opportunity he got. He ran at them. He was direct, and that's what you want to see. I thought he was brilliant. But Højbjerg and Skip in midfield, lads, oh my God, what a partnership. Skip just protects that back four brilliantly, and Højbjerg takes the ball off him and then plays that pass like he does in behind for Harry Kane today. Absolutely brilliant partnership. It's so underrated. People are sleeping on this partnership. I cannot wait for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to come here with his shiny toys because they're just going to absolutely break them into bits. I can't wait. Reguilon, I thought, was amazing today. Especially with what he done for that Newcastle fan. He potentially saved his life today by getting that game stopped. And then fair play to Eric Dyer running over and getting the guy with the defibrillator and telling him to get over there. It's good to hear that fan is alive and kicking as well. That's good to hear, I have to say. It's very good to hear. But Reguilon's performance today was unbelievable. I was absolutely raging when John Joe Shelby took him down because I thought a goal was coming. This guy is due a goal. I thought it was going to be then. But I'm not going to lie, it was nice to wave Shelby off the pitch too. I thought Emerson was brilliant on the right-hand side. I thought Romero was class. In fact, I thought all 10 players were class, apart from Eric Dyer.
Let me ask you this, David. I mean, for all the dominance we had today, and we were really dominant pretty much apart from the first 5 minutes of the game, we completely wiped four of them, didn't really feel that threatened at all throughout the first 90 minutes, apart from those first 5 minutes. But we didn't create that many clear-cut chances, and we've only finished the game with a one higher goal XG than them, which is actually mad when you think about the amount of dominance we had. I mean, are you worried about that? Does that worry you at all?
Do you know what? It worries me slightly. Look, there is a stat out there. We've created less chances under Nuno than what we have under Jose and Poch. That is worrying. But look, this is going to take time. Unfortunately, at Tottenham Hotspur, we're at a time where we had Martin Jol and Kamoli. We've gone back that far. We're now at a time where we have to give these young, hungry players that we've brought in, that I think Paratici has got his signing spot on. We have to give them a chance to develop into this team. And hopefully Harry Kane, the likes of Son and the experienced guys, Lloris, can get them to settle in quicker. But it worries me, but I do think there's a hell of a lot of positives going forward. I do. Look, in the second half, Newcastle did just sit a lot of men behind the ball. They weren't really interested. They were just trying to shore it up. But look, I do think going forward, like we've had a lot of injuries. We've had the whole thing with Harry Kane and Ndombele as well, the whole thing with him going on. We've had all the injury in international breaks. We've been screwed over. We haven't consistently been able to put out our best team. And as a guy that played football every day of the week growing up, you can put a team out there. Yes, on any given day, they might get the result. But when you can start putting the team out there on a consistent basis, that's when everyone knows what movement each other is making. That's when everything just clicks. And I think now is the perfect time to do it. I really do. I said before the international break, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, Harry Kane not scoring. Now he can come into form. Now we don't have another international. Well, actually, it's November, isn't it? Next international break. Fuck it. Anyway, but up until then, if we can get out a consistent 11 out there and let them flourish, because I do think we have a very good team on our hands right now. We have to remember, Spurs fans, as bleak as it's been at times already this season, we're 4 points off top. We're sitting in fifth, same points as Brighton. Now, I would have snapped your hands off.
And we're above Man United and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Huh?
We're above Man United and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Who would have thought that, huh? Who would have thought that? Honestly, look, this team can go places. The Premier League is wide open right now. It's absolutely sitting there for a team to go on a run. I'm not saying we're going to win the league because that's not realistic. We're not. But every year, one team in that top four has a bad season and they are catchable. And if we can put a run together between now and January, hopefully then January when the market opens, we can get 1 or 2 bodies in to help. But if we can put a consistent run between now and January, we have a bloody good shot of turning around from where we were to now. And I think with the likes of Romero at the helm, Kane, Skip, Son, Højbjerg, I can see it coming, I really can. Look, I think most importantly, we have to stick with the 4-2-3-1. I think the 4-3-3 has to be binned. It does not work. It does not suit the players at this club, and it's off balance. When we play the 4-2-3-1, Emerson can bomb on, Reguilon can bomb on, and they're not worried about giving away the ball because they know the sweepers are behind them. In Skip and Højbjerg, they will cover either side. You have Ndombele in there, who I think is crucial because it means Harry Kane can actually stick up top where he's supposed to be because he now has confidence that ball will come. That ball will find him. Rather than when we were back with Watford, Harry Kane was dropping super deep, almost on top of the centre-backs at times to pick up the ball. And that's because he had no confidence the ball was coming. Now that he's got the goal, now that he knows there are players there that can play that pass, hopefully now, we can get more ball in. But there's a lot of positives going forward. I really do see it.
All right. Love that. Absolutely love that. Forget the pre-match pump-up. This is the post-match pump-up. Come on, David. Absolutely love that.
I have to do the whole lot. No, it was a good pre-match up today. I really enjoyed it. But look, lads, I'm so confident with this FIFA crack that I nearly get a forfeit going. We should nearly put out a poll and see what the fans want to see as a forfeit or something like that. That's how confident I am. I can see you guys are a bit hesitant there. I can see the confidence is draining.
I'm up for a forfeit as long as that forfeit doesn't, because anytime anyone asks me to do a forfeit, it's always, oh yeah, wear an Arsenal shirt if you lose. There is no chance I'm ever wearing an Arsenal shirt. So as long as it's not that, I'm all up for it.
No, look, I'll speak to my co-host Jack. I'll see what we can come up with, something interesting. Look, I wouldn't do the Arsenal team because I wouldn't wear one either, so I don't blame you. But it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to set down a date, get it done. But honestly, boys, Tottenham fucking Hotspur are back, baby. We have something we can get behind and something we can love again for the next few days. So come on, you Spurs. Let's have it. Great job today, guys.
Big up, David. Maybe the loser has to buy a Harry Winks t-shirt or something. I don't know.
Yes, that's almost like an Arsenal jersey for me. I probably could stretch that. Probably do a Winks jersey. But no, big up, everybody. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in on the pre-match pump-up and for coming on as well. It's greatly appreciated. The show is not without you guys. So big up. And I hope everyone was running around with their American football hats on before the game, breaking things with excitement. They were pumped up that much.
Big up, David. Everyone go and subscribe to the Irish Hotspur and obviously tune in for his next pre-match pump-up on Thursday before the Vitesse game. Big up, David. Thanks for coming on and we'll see you next time.
Come on, you Spurs!
Get in, David.
Love that. Unfortunately, we are running out of time very soon because it is Grandpa's birthday, so we're going to have to go and spend some time with him. But just before we end the show, we're going to end the show with the Joricle. Yes, Jory, how you doing, mate?
A lot of pressure, Jory. It's better be worth it. You're keeping us for my grandpa.
You're on mute.
He's on mute.
You can't be muting on Grandpa's birthday.
Oh, thank you for the honor, guys. I'll try and keep it short so you can get to Grandpa's, right?
Exactly.
Yes. So everybody's happy, and I think for good reason. We saw the continuation of the good things we saw at the Villa game. So, it's the first time in a long time, I think a lot of us feel like there's something solid building, there's some direction now, and then there's a team forming and there's a system forming. I completely agree with almost or everything that David just said there, especially with the formations. I think this is the formation to go with. I think it's actually pretty brilliant. We've had a really hard time as fans figuring out how to, for example, use Ndombele or Lo Celso or whatever. I think today is that answer to have him in front of these two defensive guys, Højbjerg and Skip, is fine. Yeah, I thought he had a brilliant game. He really showed up. I think we can be calm now with in terms of his attitude and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm very happy. I really think we got something going now, and I just hope that Levy will leave Nuno and Paratici to it, because they seem to know what they're doing.
And there's also, the performance we put in today, I know it's against a poor Newcastle side who, despite the buoyant mood they're in with the whole takeover and everything, and I did think, the first 2 minutes off they were 1-0 up, it did set the tone as like, okay, they are going to really go for it today. And I think we did good to overcome that. But in terms of, what was I going to say? In terms of how we approached the game, was there signs there that, the football we can play, even though it's a poor Newcastle side, like we actually can keep possession and we can progress the ball pretty effectively into our good forward players? Was that a good time for you?
Yeah, exactly. Like now for the first time in a long time as well, which is funny. Like under Mourinho, we never saw any holding ability anywhere. Not in the defense, not on the middle, not in the last third. Now we're seeing holding ability all over the place. So, and that, I think that gives, because it, for me, it's maybe still a little bit slower than I would prefer to see this play, but I'm fine with it because it works and it's solid and it's repeatable. That's the thing I really love to see here. And I think it's very much down to getting like an Ndombele, like other callers pointed out today, is like if we can hold with guys like that, and Ndombele or Lo Celso or Lucas and stuff like that, then we can actually structure it. And if we have the fitness and the discipline in our training to keep our form and to keep the systems, like you can see now that there's a lot of drills going on. You can see that they have cues, they have they're reacting to things that they've been drilling through the week, which is exactly what you want to see, and for me, I feel like, I didn't see that for years in Spurs. It was just kind of almost down to individual or pairs or something doing brilliant stuff, and then the others ran along. It's kind of like when Son and Kane were really up for it, everybody came alive. But if you think about it and analyze it, it wasn't really something that we then went on and repeated the next game and the next game. It was just kind of almost very random. I feel like this team has been too random for too long, but that seems to begin to disappear now, and some system, some form is coming through now, I feel.
Jory, let me ask you this. Harry Kane, you've had your say on him in the past. Goal and assist today. Is he back?
No, he's not back, but he is gonna. This is kind of the level we can expect from him. I would actually say, for me, even though I was very happy with what I saw from Kane today, I still think, like in general, I probably would say Kane is probably the second worst player on the pitch today.
Really?
Dyer, of course, the worst one, and which is kind of like Dyer has been more consistent than he's been for a long time. But this is just Dyer. Dyer doesn't, if you leave a decision to Dyer, like that moment was down to, he will make a wrong decision pretty quickly. It might not be every decision, but every other or every third or whatever, so. And Romero has kind of taken care of him not deciding anything. I think that's why we've seen such a good form out of him. But Harry Kane was good. I mean, Harry Kane is elite in my head, and I ask you guys, is that an elite player we're seeing today? No, I don't think so. In my view, Harry Kane is elite still, even though I've said he's too slow for our system, whatever. He's not the best fit for the system right now, but I would say, like, I was disappointed to see how lazy he was in the press sometimes, and it comes a little bit at the cost of Lucas. Lucas is not as effective on the side, but I'm fine with that as well, as long as they're assisting and scoring. And what I'm happy to see is all three of them are playing together like a unit. So I'm happy with that. I'm sure we will get Harry Kane up a little bit higher, but we won't get the Harry Kane of last season. I'm pretty sure of that. And to be honest, I'm sure that Paratici and Levy are working to get him out now this January. I think that's
You think
Really?
so?
You think January?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think they learned that. I think Levy learned his lessons this summer too, because it could have gone really sour. Now, if he has a good run now, you really need to sell him if you want the money, because he is leaving next summer, and he could get injured. He could underperform and so on, and you won't get the money then. So. And also, we can actually do something in terms of getting a top spot. I wouldn't want to say top 4, but we should definitely be looking at trying to secure at least the Europa football. Of course, we should go for Champions League, and if we sell a Kane and we can make deals happen for us, then we're definitely in the game, guys. So, but we need that kind of funding, So. But I've
Jory,
many,
if we are going well, like in January, let's say from now until January, Harry Kane picks up, starts scoring some goals. Are they really going to think about upsetting the rhythm and trying to sell him in January? Because who are you going to bring in to replace Harry Kane? Maybe a Vlahovic, but is Vlahovic really going to come in and hit the ground running? He needs to get used to the Premier League.
No, but I do think it's a great point, Ben. And I think that's going to be their difficult decision, because I think if they can make the Kane deal this January, they can get the money and they can bring in a Vlahovic and start building like a real contender for everything team. But it might exactly mean that you're sacrificing the run now. But if he hits the ground running, then we might even be doing better, because then we can play even higher press. And I do agree with I can't remember who said it, but I do agree that like Dyer, we shouldn't be playing Dyer, even though he's maybe the most stable in a weird sense. That's probably also down to his slowness. We should be playing Rodon or Sanchez with Romero and playing a higher line and higher press and all that, because this is where we definitely shine as a team. And I think that's what Nuno wants to do eventually. But now we're playing a little bit almost like a mix between what Mourinho did most of the time and then the kind of the classic high press thing. I think like we kind of switch it up there. Sometimes we go very high press, and then other times we're kind of lower tempo and more possession, which is great. I mean, we also saw today just how talented these players really are when they, there wasn't really any, like I wasn't even unhappy with Dyer, even though, I know this is going to come from Dyer. I last season, the start of last season, I did get deluded and thought Mourinho had fixed Dyer for good, but we certainly learned that didn't happen, so I know it's going to come always, but in general, I thought he had an all right game, and I was happy to see what I saw from Kane, But once again, I remind you, Kane is elite, We have to keep him to that standard. That's what he's always, or at least the last couple of years, been for us. So there's no reason to lower our standard. I'm not saying that we should be on his back. I'm happy, great, Kane. It was lovely. You turned up. You're at least, fighting with your teammates and all that. You're not moping on the field anymore. But I would want more work from him, to be honest. But I think more it's a format thing, and I think he's now at least hanging like with the two like Skip and Højbjerg, and then on Ndombele means that he can hang up there more, which is how we need to use him in this team, I think. So, and then we'll get the goals. That's what Kane does. So,
all right, Jory. Unfortunately, we have to leave.
Of course, you got to go to Grandpa.
Exactly.
Say hi
and
happy birthday
dinner.
And all that. Yeah.
I'm sure I'll send him your best, Jory.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Jory, as always. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
All right, so that brings an end to the fan show. Sorry, it's cut a bit late today, but we do have to get off. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you for everyone for calling in as well. 3 points on the board today. We move on to Vitesse on Thursday then West Ham on Sunday. So we'll see you all next time. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.